It's funny how these 3 years has gone by. So I started college a little bit before Tom, and I spent my full 4 years of college studying. And Tom graduated actually in just 3 years because he had, I believe, some high school credits or something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
I had international baccalaureate credits
hmm
from high school, and so I managed to get 1 year off.
So I spent my full 4 years in college studying. I also double major in finance and accounting, and I don't know, my I could have graduated like you, like with 3.5 years, a little bit more, but I decided to take like a double major because I felt like I wasn't ready or knowledgeable enough to step into the job market and present myself into the world. So I'm very curious about how you just graduating with 3 years, how you feel about that, graduating in such a short time. And do you feel ready? Do you have anything that you will do differently? What are your opinions on that?
Right. So let me break that down in two questions. How do I feel graduating in 3 years instead of 4 years, and how would have done it differently? So I broke it down to two questions. So I feel like I feel rather funny because when I came in, Eddie was already in college, but then I'm graduating at the same time as he is, and I thought like that was a little funny at one point. But like being a student that's graduating a year earlier, um, I, I thought it was good in the first place. Partly because I was influenced by my parents, like, hey, graduating early is good. Um, I do agree with them that it does save them costs. Um, but at the same time, for my mental growth, because because college is also like everyone's space to grow. You get 1 year less of a space to grow,
Mm-hmm.
and basically by the end of the 3 years, you actually need to have all your things straight, unlike in 4 years. So what happened to me is that in 3 years, I just learned everything, and I started to understand like what I want to do, but I did not actually have like a proper like an exact plan, a layout to where I want to work, where I want
Mm-hmm.
like what jobs I like or dislike.
Mm-hmm.
In 4 years, I think you'd actually know better. Um, and in a way, you'd have more time to network, seek mentorship, go out in the city in San Francisco or the Bay Area, in fact, and find and learn more experience from people who you can interview, because like you can interview people like LinkedIn. You can ask them for career advice or job advice. In my case, I only had 3 years, so I have done some of that, but then like potentially less.
Mm-hmm.
If I had 4 years of university instead of three, I would have been doing that right now, because I face much more urgency than you do. If you realize that you just have so much, like basically you just have so much time to think about what you could do.
And that was exactly how I felt on my third year. Like I felt like I wasn't prepared enough. I was still kind of playing around, and even after graduating, I didn't have like a clear direction of where I wanted to go or where I wanted to do. So on my third year, I decided just to take another major just to kind of like prolong my college years to try to figure out what I really want to do. I'm not saying that just for having the spending another year thinking about it, you'll figure out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very long journey, but
Right.
at least I have a little bit more, a clearer picture of what I want to do in the future. And I think that gave me time to at least work on some more projects, work on some skills that could help me refine my resume and everything. But overall, I think that it doesn't matter if it's like 3 or 4 years of college. For it depends on the person. If you feel ready at the end of the third year, then go for it. But for me myself, I think I needed way more preparation. Also because I have like a finance background, so I felt like I needed to take some extra classes to learn this and that. So it's a different journey for
Right.
everybody. So it really depends.
I do have a question. Like speaking about like, cause you said you do have you learned more taking an extra major, and learning more from finance
Mhm.
classes. Um, so far, do you think that the concepts that you've learned in finance classes have they been useful for work?
In my current job role, I work as a financial analyst. Not really. It's funny. What I work on a daily basis, I actually learned those from online courses, and that those were online courses that I took after I graduated because I really wanted to become a financial analyst because a lot of the job description, it kind of like resembles what I wanted to do. However, I lack skills like SQL and some programming skills, and I was like, damn, I need to dig into this, and so I decided to take some online courses, and that's what I basically do now in a daily basis. So I'm not saying school is completely useless, but you always have that need to add that cherry on top of the cake just to
Of
make
course.
yourself more presentable
Hmm.
in front of an interviewer, right, or recruiter.
Right. So in a way, for our listeners who are going to be students, do you like, based on your experience, do you think that you should have been much more curious?
More curious. Probably, yeah. I should have put more time into researching about what I want to do and probably have a better understanding of what it implies to step into like the job market and everything. But it's, at least for myself, I feel like it's not something that I was too worried about until I'm a guy that always I get worried like 2 days before the deadline. So I didn't really worry about it until I was about to finish school, which is not the wisest thing to do, but I kind of figured it out. I spent a couple months unemployed, but it's all good.